Hello, welcome to the Lone Show. I'm your host, John Lone. In this episode, don't have regulars. They're doing another space again, talking about some old guy, crypto, the deep states. I'm not sure where to go with that. But anyway, as for our guest, he is from San Francisco. He's the CEO and founder of Softwurx, a mission-driven software design studio. Wow, that's intriguing. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Ali L.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. How's it going, man? Well, that's a great. Good. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm really excited. I'm really excited for our discussion.
Me too. So, tell me more of your mission-driven software design studio.
Yeah, absolutely. To just view of how it is I came into the industry. A few years ago, I was in. Well, it started a long time ago. When I really started, getting a grasp of software and the startup game, was a few years ago when I started my first. And through that venture, I learned so much, right? But one thing that I noticed over the years was that for creating software, many times people say it's to help people, to solve a problem, but the driving factor usually is to just make money and to just, move on, and that's good. That's business, right? But different was that I didn't want to work on anything, and I wanted to work at a place where that doesn't do anything if it doesn't, right? Like how do we make do good social impact, while making really cool products, make money, right, for everybody, because of course that's business, right? And so that's what I did differently with Softworks when I started it a couple of years of, can a software company, just focus on being mission driven, and that's, all we do, all the projects that we driven, all the clients that we help out are, mission driven, clients that want to do something good in the world, and to be honest with you, it's been a great journey so far, and really exciting. And the answer, which is, I know, just kind of winded right now, is yes. The short answer is yes. You can definitely be mission driven. Create software that is mission driven, that has a purpose, a greater purpose, and you can make a lot of money doing it as well. So, it's a win-win situation.
Okay then, that sounds good. And what inspired you to get into this specifically?
That's a very good question. I think it was a variety of factors, honestly, but I think after 2020 pandemic, I had some time to just sit down and think clearly for a little bit. That timeout was very beneficial, I would say. So I got time to really sit down and get connected, with both, how I felt in the situation, and also, being in constant connection, communication with communities around me. I realized, I was like, there's really an opportunity here that we can do something, at least try. Uh, so I would definitely say that.
Ah, all right then. And what was life for you growing up?
Man, that's a very good question. How would you like me to answer this?
Well,
I feel like there's different ways to answer this.
well, you could start from the beginning and work your way yourself up from there.
How was it for me growing up? It was interesting because I'm a mixed person myself. My dad is Arab and my mom is South African, and so I got to see life from different perspectives growing up, and it was. I will be honest with you. I think it's what allowed me to do what I do right now, because I can see I can see life from different perspectives, just plugging in right away. Um, and technology played a big role, in this as well. Just as I progressed from, bouncing around in the Arab countries, spend a lot of time in South Africa, and then coming to the United States. I lived through different cultures. I lived through technological times. I lived through different systems as well. And so, man, it was an interesting time. I'll be honest, a little frustrating because one, I was always moving, and two, um, just to different cultures and different people. At times it was frustrating as a teenager. And so, but looking back now, I think that was great. And then when technology, it's funny, like looking back now, also technology was always there. Interested, in how things worked. I always wanted to figure things out. Um, I was always fiddling around with toys because as the day three, I would already open it up. I would try to figure out how it works inside, and once I figure it out, I kind of just move on. So I would say it wasn't that bad growing up. Overall, I would think.
Oh, okay, sounds good. If you were to start another business, what kind of business would that be?
Man, so I am admittedly addicted to starting businesses. I started pretty young. I think my first official business was a design studio. It taught me a lot about people and how to deal with customers, how to build a customer centric business. But I think right now, self in a way to say, okay, how could I want to create things that I want to see in the world. And I think moving forward, I want to experiment with, more physical businesses, because I've done so much digital stuff that it's sort of like second nature to me. But I think if I were to open something, it'll definitely be an experiential physical space. Um, Pretty cool idea. But yeah.
Okay, I like it. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would that be?
Oh man, right now I'm right here where I want to be. I always like it was a sort of dream, childhood dream of mine. Um, so I was always thinking to myself that I want to be out here. So I'm living there right now. To be honest with
Okay, I respect that. I would only want to visit San Francisco.
you, you should come, man. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's really beautiful, that's for sure.
Oh yes, absolutely.
If
What
you don't
is
mind me
the
asking, where are you based?
So I'm based in Manchester in the United Kingdom.
Oh, cool, cool.
What is the best way to start the morning?
Really good question. I'm a stickler for routine, so I try to sort of follow routine because I believe in consistent routines, and so the first thing I do usually is just take a really long shower. It really helps me orient myself for the rest of the day. It's sort of like combining meditation with showering. It's really great. It gives you a really good start. Do not skip breakfast. Important thing. So while all of this is happening, just getting ready for the day, just organizing myself, I make sure phone at all. This is like a non-negotiable for me. Is I don't touch my phone until I'm ready to start the day. Uh, to sort of like block off that space for myself to think and to get started. Because there's a lot going on, a lot of projects at the same time, and so it's very important that I go through each one and I give it the proper time it needs, so I don't feel um, disoriented or that feeling like you're not doing what you're supposed to do, or like just you're not in alignment. So just to avoid that, I make sure to and also early. This is another non-negotiable for me. I have to start the day before the sun comes up. If I start up, it's just downhill from there, and so I try really really hard. It's something I work on really really. intensely. And I think definitely sum that up.
Okay, absolutely. What incredibly common thing have you never done?
Oh, could you elaborate?
So what I mean is, what is something that a lot of people do a lot of the time, but you yourself haven't done that is so casually common thing yourself?
Hmm, It's a good how to answer that, to be honest. There's a lot of things. People usually go. Can I say? They people usually travel all the time, a lot. I don't travel that much anymore, just because I work all. Um, that's the thing. People go to. I actually haven't been to the beach in a really long time. Um, it's just yeah, I just I work a lot, and right now it's very important. It's a very critical time. So yeah, hopefully that answers the question, man.
Yeah, I am quite shocked though. You're in San Francisco, but you haven't been to a beach, which is like close to you. That just
It's right
mind
there.
blowing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's right there.
I'm telling you. Yeah, it's right, man. You gotta come out to the Bay Area and you'll see what I'm talking about. You get so zoned in what you do in the day to day that it's like it's weird. It's kind of you don't even doesn't even cross your mind, Um, at least for me, at least I guess I can't speak for everybody. Myself, and the people that I come in contact with in the day to day, it's really rare that we talk about the ocean or that is it's just there. It's hard to explain, but yeah, man, I understand. I understand. I be so it's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Which pizza topping do you most relate to?
It's a very funny question, man. Pineapple. I definitely would relate to pineapples. Oh my gosh. I'm one of those who really likes pineapples on the
Okay, okay, that's cool, I guess.
pizza. Yeah. I just find it funny. Yeah. In South
Yeah,
Africa, I used to eat it a lot, but here people think it's weird.
okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, these are
Where
really
do
good
you?
questions, but
Thank you. Where do you see yourself 20 years from now?
ooh, this is a personal like philosophy boundary of mine because I tend to not want to look. I know in the case and just good business practice in general, you have to play the infinite game, right? Which means you got to think really, really far out. Um, from like experience, I've learned in the tech space that it's really, really not wise to think on that long of a scale. So business to keep my visions like limited to like maybe 5 years, um, just because I can have predictions, I can have feeling, intuition towards beyond that, and say okay, I think maybe like can get there. But things like AI in like movement going on right now that can just 10x time, things like that. How could anyone predict things like as a business? You have to stay nimble and stay on your toes and respond to the market, respond to what's happening. But me personally, I think 20 years from now, um, I better version of myself. Honestly, I think every year reinventing myself and try to be better than the person that was last year. Try to be better, take care of my body, mentally as well, not just physically. I think that's important. I think I would love to have this. Our businesses hitting crazy numbers. Um, in just making sure that we're on our mission, we stay focused. Um, because 20 years is a long time, man. 20.
Yeah,
That's a tough
it
one.
sure is.
Yeah. If I may ask, you were 20 years. I'm really curious.
Well, to be honest, given the circumstances, a lot of things could happen. I could go off. I can go off to do the television. I could
Mm.
live life carefree with financial stability, or I could be up in the morgue, perhaps, because I know too much about the deep state or the dark secrets of the New World Order. But yeah, that's anything can happen, really.
Yeah, no, that's true. Can I ask you a side question? Do
Yeah,
you
sure.
think that could ever escape the the shadows of people calling it a scam, the the depth of the shadows? You think it ever could become something that is widely used or something that is trusted?
Well, I do believe that cryptocurrencies will eventually, in the next few years, be something that is widely used by a lot of people. However, there is still going to be some skepticism about
Mm.
scammers using it as a leeway to make uh, find their own personal gains. That there's still going to be skepticism somewhere, but in the next few years, with enough educational resources and transparency about what crypto exactly is, in a few years, people will start to use it on a wider commercial scale, and people will eventually will have to adapt to it given its public use and commercialization of it.
Oh, I see. So, okay, that makes sense. So you do think there's hope for it, right? Like
Oh yeah, there's
actual
yeah,
utility.
yeah, crypto is still it's certainly going to take off at some point, but there is going to be someone that's a bit hesitant and not open like trying something new. But once it does become more widely available right than it is right now, that it don't want to have much of a choice to not use crypto if it's like how we use like regular money today. If it's widely used, then people will certainly have to like adapt with the times. And of course, there will have to be certain educational resources teaching people what crypto is, how you can use it, and how you can keep it safe. It's those specific components in terms of security and safety is what a lot of people are a bit skeptical about being seen as a scam or people use it for gambling.
Yeah, I see. I sense that once it has a use case beyond the scam, the more scam type of, then that's when the adoption rate's going to pick up.
Oh yes, once people realize that crypto is used as a more meaningful and alternative way of purchasing and selling stuff, like it's like an alternative currency besides what we have, the money we have right now, then yeah, certainly there's going to be some form of adaptation, and will come a point where people will try switch to it as an alternative in case, well, a local governments start to like go into a default at some point and the inflation rates go way off the board. But yeah,
I'm glad we're on the same page. I certainly know, man. I'm curious. I asked because it's a sense that you have a depth of judging from the comments you make in the space, and so I'm curious to see different perspectives on that question.
yeah,
It's interesting. I think so too. I think we're heading that way. So yeah, I see. It's very difficult to make predictions with things moving at this pace. Uh, Moving fast before when I was younger, but now things are going even faster. It
oh
feels
yeah,
like innovation is flipping around in like a matter of a year to a month. Next thing you know, it's gonna be daily. How do you keep up with that, right? So
yeah,
yeah,
so much to catch up with.
yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. I'm having a lot of fun on this podcast. Just wanted to let you know that this is. I appreciate you having
Yeah,
me on.
yeah, you're welcome. What would you choose as the eighth wonder of the world?
Oh man, if I wanted to be uh, you know honest, I, my partner's cooking. No, I think the eighth wonder of the world is people. I think it's people.
Hmm. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I
I
never
think.
thought people could be wonders of the world.
Yeah, it's right, but it's the mysteriousness of us that is funny. I think it's quite intriguing, honestly.
Oh yes. If you could travel back in time, what decade would you want to live in?
That's a very good question. I consider myself an old soul. Funny because all throughout high school, my nickname was Mr. Robot because I was always tinkering on computers and stuff. And so, but I consider myself. I love jazz. I love classical music. It's amazing. Also, went through a little phase where I was really in the old like 30s, 40s era. It was such a iconic era. Yeah. So I would definitely consider myself an old soul. I also tend to like to look at further history, like eight about that, and so on. I really like history, so it's really difficult to pick a time era. I'll be honest with you, but I'm a futurist. I like to think like centuries ahead, and wonder what life will be like and things like that. So I think I would definitely go to the future, man. More than the past. Past
Okay.
has been cool to learn, but I really just because the possibilities. I wonder what would I would experience. Man, it blows my mind. I tend to be positive side because you never know. It could also be really bad. It could be really really bad. So yeah.
Yeah, of course. What is your favorite quote?
Oh man. So that's a good question. Uh, See now you put. I'm sort of jumbling them all up. So admittedly, I'm not really good with. So I tend to read the the quote, but I tend to forget. I think my favorite quote of all time, just because of the type of person I am, was say to begin the journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. It's a proverb. It was if I'm not mistaken, is a Chinese. So it's really really impactful for me.
Hmm. Okay. Sounds good. What app can you not believe someone hasn't made yet?
I'm working on that. Man, I can't say right now because I'm literally working on it.
Ah,
So that's tough.
okay.
Yeah. But there are some more things that opportunities. There's so many opportunities out there right now. It's crazy how these opportunities. So let me think. Um, wow, that's interesting. Pretty much everything I'm thinking of right now has something to be related to what I'm working on. So it's gonna be a tough one to answer.
Okay. I can
Yeah.
understand that.
Thanks, man. Thanks for understanding.
Welcome. What fictional item do you wish you owned in real life?
Fictional, I definitely. Okay, so I was a huge gamer growing up. I'm not as much of a gamer right now because I don't love it, or like that stupid, silly thing of all you people outgrow it. I don't think we ever outgrow video games. It's just that we don't have time for it. But stuff. So I'm a gamer at heart, but I don't play as many games anymore. And there are just a lot of items from that. But I think thing at the very top that I always wanted. It's one of two. It's kind of equal. And in no particular order is the gun from the Portal games. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that gun. There was this game back in the day where you kind of just like your objective is to get out of a room and you're
Oh
given
yeah, I've
this
heard of
gun.
that game.
Shoot. Yeah, it's I always wanted that gun. And then the second one was this game called Crisis. They had a suit um, I thought it would be really cool, man. I was like, man, if we could make that in real life, that would be so awesome. Um, yeah, a lot of the things that inspired me have come from like movies and video games and imagination, all those things. So hopefully in the future, 20 years from now, if we ever have another talk, man, I'll be able to tell you accomplished in further detail, and in that way, um, it'll be interesting, I think.
All right then.
Interesting, actually.
Cool.
Yeah,
What kind of music do you often listen to?
I listen to a variety of music. It depends on what I'm doing. When I work, I usually tend to listen to things that don't have lyrics. Uh, it's again, lo-fi. I listen to a lot of some things, some ethnic things, some cultural, mixes, just to get, just to have in that zone. When I work out, I definitely like things more upbeat, so a lot of, intense things like that, very intense music, and so on. But yeah, I listen to a variety of different music, every. So yeah.
All right. Sounds good. It's very good. Would you rather not be able to open any closed doors or not be able to open doors?
Oh, definitely the second one. I'd rather have doors open that I can't close.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
for
I agree.
yeah, that's
And this
interesting.
is a question that just came from the top of my head.
Okay.
Have you ever thought about living in a world there is nothing but gardens?
Oh yeah, that's amazing. That would be great.
Oh yes.
Yes, that would be nice. I'm a huge nature pro. I really love nature. I think it's great. I think if we can cohabitate with it, it'll take care of us, and we'll be fine. So
Yeah,
garden sounds.
yeah, it sure does. And that is all we have for this episode. It was great having you here, Ali, talking about your works in the software design studio, your heritage, and a lot of other things. It's been fabulous.
Man. Thank you for having me. It was awesome, man. I had a really good time. I hope
You're
to do this
welcome.
again pretty soon.
Yeah. And until next time, stay tuned for more.